Okay, so I started on the other half of the sight glass fitting, and I turned the threads for the boiler on the end. I cut a hex on it. Now I'm going to part it off, and we'll turn the little nub that's going to fit into the other half of the fitting into this, so it'll fit in there into that hole like that, and then we'll solder it together, and then I'll have to make the nuts for it, the compression nuts, and we'll be set. So so I got the lathe set up here. We're just gonna put it in here and part it off, and then we'll flip it around and grip on those threads lightly, and then hopefully on the threaded end here, and then we'll take and turn up the, I might go in there with a part off blade here and partially turn that down for the small diameter here. I'll have to check it. I don't remember what the diameter was that I had made it, and I will check it. I think it's a 3/16. Yep. So it's 3/16 diameter. So what I'll do is I'll go in with a part off blade and take it down to pretty close to 3/16. So I'll be back when I get that done. Okay, what I did was I went in with a wide part off blade. I went in 150. I got to go down, take this down to 187. It was 3/8, so should have about 30 thou to go yet. And then I went with a narrow blade and parted it off and left a little nub there. So now I'm going to clamp it on the threads, turn that diameter down, and drill the hole through, and then we should be set to silver solder these together. I'm not going to silver solder, I'm just going to soft solder them together. So I'm going to change collets, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. Like I say, I'm just going to clamp here, finish this diameter, and then drill the hole through it. So I'll be back. Okay, I got two pieces made now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to solder those together with soft solder. So I'm going to take some solder here, and I'm going to take a little hammer and I'm going to flatten it out. So it's like a piece of solder ribbon, like that. And then I'm going to cut off 2 or 3 pieces, small pieces. That's pretty big there. That's probably big enough. I don't want to get too much under there. Just like that. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut that piece down. This first piece that I cut, it's a little bit too big. You don't want to put too much under there, because then it sticks out, and probably those 2 pieces, this piece will be garbage. Alright, so now we're going to put some rosin flux on there. If I can get the container open. And I'll use the shank of a small drill here. Just get a little on the drill here. And I want to put it around. I want to put it around the little spud that I turned on there. And probably really wouldn't have to put any in here, but I'll put a little in the hole. Now I'll pick up these pieces of solder with that and place them about 180 degrees apart. Hopefully that'll seal it up. And then we'll stick it in the hole here. Like that. Now, I'm going to heat it up. And get a smaller or bigger, a little bit bigger drill. I just got a butane torch here. I'm just going to heat it up here, and I'm going to push down on the top of it once I think it gets hot. Once I think it's hot enough. I don't know if maybe I didn't have enough solder under there. Well, we'll see if it leaks. Alright, so let it cool. This is just an aluminum block sitting on my vise here. Aluminum round puck. Okay, I'm going to grab it with pliers. I'm going to, I got some water in there. I got some water in over here. I can quench it. It should be cool enough to where I could just quench it. Quench it. Let's see if it's lit. It's definitely soldered together. Whether it went all the way around, it should have flowed all the way around. But we'll see. So now I got to turn the caps up, the compression caps. And this one here, I made this a little shorter than that, and boy, I might have a problem there. Well, the tube is going to be long enough. Hopefully I can make the collar a little bit bigger. Well, I could put a washer under there to bring it out. That's what I'll end up probably doing, because both of these are going to sit in the boiler, and the tube is going to go, glass tube is going to go in here. They need to sit somewhat on the same center line, and it looks like it's about, I made this about an 1/8 inch shorter than that. God darn it. Oh well, I'll fix it. I can fix it with, like I say, with a washer, and you'll never notice it anyway. So the next step is the compression nuts, and I'll make it out of the same material that I have here, 3/8 brass. And what I'll do is I'll drill and tap. Oh, I need to get the glass tube. I'm not exactly sure what the diameter of that tubing was. Oh, it's way up on top shelf. Looking for my step stool. My wife had it way over on the other side of the garage. Not exactly sure why. Alright, let's see if I can get this tubing down. Oh! I'll just take one piece of it. I've got like 10, 15 pieces of this that, you know, I got way more than what I'll ever use. And here's the glass tubing. So That'll fit right in here like that. I didn't think it was that thick in diameter. I don't have any smaller stuff, do I? I have several, I have a few different diameters of glass tubing here. This one is 158 diameter, if I just measure it with the calipers out on the end. I'm going to quick measure sight glass on this other boiler that I did. Oop. Knock stuff down. I'm going to drop this. I want to drop my engine on the floor, but here's, I'll back you up here. But here's one that I have already done and put together and fixed, and it looks like the same size tubing. I don't know. This is 120. So I must have some other glass tubing here somewhere. Well, I'm going to turn the camera off and I'm going to go hunting. We'll find it. Okay, I found it. It's quite a bit they're longer pieces than what I than these other ones. I don't know what I ordered those for. And these are in 119, 118, 119, but they're really long. Well, this piece is broke. Wow, it's probably the piece I used, but otherwise they're long. Long pieces of glass tubing. Not sure where I ordered it from, but if anybody needs any glass for their boiler sites, I've got two different sizes here. Just drop me a line. I'd be more than happy to try to ship you a piece. But I'll never use that in my lifetime. All of that. So if anybody working on a project that they need some glass tubing, just let me know. 150. What did I say? 157 and 127 or something like that. So I'll put this back up on the shelf here so I don't break them. The other ones I stuck up by my lights. They were stuck up on my lights on my over my bench. So, well, come on now. Having a hard time getting them back to where they were here. Too much junk in the way. Oh, I ended up dropping them yet. You know, a bunch of these little pieces. There we go. Put them on the shelf where I got a little bracket to hold them. So anyway, now I got to make those caps, and this tubing has to slide into that cap. So I'll end up drilling this hole through. And like it's actually 119, 118. It's a little bit of, this isn't a really precision glass. I can see this got about a thou out around this, but that's fine. We're gonna have I'll put a vinyl or a nylon seal in there to seal it. So I'm gonna lay this over on the surface plate on my motor. And I'm gonna go ahead and start working on the cap, the compression nut. I knew it was there, just couldn't spit it out. So, what do I want to do first on the compression nut? Probably drill and tap this. Drill and tap it for this, and then poke a hole all the way through, come over, mill the hex, and then part it off. I think that's the plan. Oh, and then I'm gonna have to make the collars, the repair collars for these these holes in the boiler. I can't remember which one. Yeah, see the bottom one is stripped out. Whoever had this before me, they wrenched it too tight, and the top one is okay. But I'm gonna go ahead and put a repair fitting on it also. See, I'll need to put washers underneath anyway to space them the right, so that they're pointing down. This one's pointing down and that one's pointing up. But yeah, so they'll fit like that. And the nylon collar that I put in there will allow it to flex enough, I believe, for it to, so I won't have to worry about alignment of the two. So, I'm going to go ahead and basically just put this back in lathe, drill and tap for the nut, and drill the small hole through, or deeper, and then come back and I'm going to mill the hex. I'll come back when I'm milling the hex on it, because it's basically all it is just a drill tap, and drill and tap cycle, and you've seen that. You've seen me do that before. Center drill, tap, right depth, little chamfer, and then drill the small hole in it, and then we'll put the hex on. So it's storm rolled through here early this morning, a mile, not even, well, about a mile away from us to the south of us. They got golf ball size hail. We got a few, very few marble size, but that was it. But man, lightning this morning before the sun came up, it was a light show going on. I haven't seen lightning like that in a long time, and loud. So anyway, everything's wet and kind of drizzly and muddy outside, so I'm inside. So anyway, I'll be back when I'm ready to. I'll probably do both ends. That way I got both of them done at the same time, because they don't have a compression nut for this one either, even though I have the body, but I don't have the compression nut. You know, and I should have made a couple more of these while I was working on them. Being I was talking about a soup can boiler. Of course, you don't have to put a sight glass in, but you don't know the water level then. And because I've seen people make them and not put a sight glass or any way of telling how much water is in them, and you run the risk of once the water's gone, it starts to overheat, and whatever you have soldered into it comes unsoldered. So it's advisable to have a sight glass. Maybe I'll use some of that thick, bigger tubing on that one. You know, I could bend it and do it totally different. Well, anyway, I'll think about that later. So I'm back to lathe, and I'll be back when I am ready to start putting hexes on. Later.